Welcome back to the final episode of Season 1 for Selling the Soundtrack. Huge thanks to everyone that tuned in and supported this project. As we wrap up Season 1, let's get into the most important learnings from the episodes. Sync licensing can be broken down into 3 main components for musicians: making the music, admin, and outreach/sales. Making good music that you're proud of is the most important thing. Listen to the music used in commercials, TV, movies, and video games. Honestly assess if your music meets that standard. If you don't think so, hire out what you don't specialize in. So for example, you can hire a music producer to polish up your tracks or a mix engineer. If you're not the best singer, then team up with someone who is. Here's a snippet from episode 9 of the podcast where we interviewed Riche Brisson, who works as a music supervisor for Cadence Music and Eggplant Music and Sound. He talks about some things you should think about during your song creation process. Are there certain characteristics that make a track more appealing for sync?
Yeah, I mean, it's always tricky to license something with a lot of swearing in it.
Yeah, don't make it explicit or cut out the swear words.
Yeah, or if you do have a song like that, have a clean version too when you're recording it. That always helps.
Mm-hmm.
Instrumentals help because there's like a rule when you're mixing TV or any sort of like film that dialogue is king, and anything that sits under it is can't be fighting the dialogue. So when you're mixing for television, you're always mixing to the dialogue. Like you want your dialogue to really stand out first. And then anything conflicting with that just doesn't feel good when you're watching it, you know? So instrumentals help because if you have like a really strong singer on a track and a really dialogue heavy scene, then they're going to tend to conflict a little bit. So having instrumentals is important.
The next components of the 3 is admin. You need to properly tag your music with essential metadata, like your artist name, your cover art, your BPM, genre, tags, PRO information, IPI number, etc. This ensures that music supervisors have all the info they need and can reach out to you easily. You can do this all via disco.ac. Here's a snippet from episode 3 where we interviewed Jay Ward, who's an account exec at Disco.
Could you explain what Disco is?
So Disco was created by music supervisors. For those who are new to sync, music supervisors are typically the ones who are helping dictate what music is being used in a project that they're working on, or a film, be it a film or a commercial or like what we've discussed before. But Disco was created by a music supervision company over in Australia, and it really blew up in that music supervision world, sync world. But from that, it's exploded into other markets, such as, just major labels and major publishers down to indie labels, indie publishers, content companies, media companies. And now we just launched an artist plan in August. So artists, like everybody on one platform. And it just makes it very easy for you to store your music with all of the metadata and rights holders information on it and share it to music supervisors who are using that platform to store all of their music in when they do their searching. So it just makes it easy to send files back and forth that are complete and have everything that they would need to license your music.
The last component of the 3 parts of sync for musicians is outreach/sales. You need to build connections with key industry players. Instead of directly approaching music supervisors, instead contact publishers, record labels, music libraries, or sync agents. They have already established connections with music supervisors, so it can make the process a lot easier. You can find music libraries, sync agents, and music publishers via LinkedIn, Google, and the Selling the Soundtrack podcast. If you want to find music supervisors directly, you can check out the Guild of Music Supervisors, IMDb, or just simply type in music supervisor into LinkedIn. The key is to make sure to listen to the kind of music they work on and ensure that you're a right fit before reaching out. Listen to the music on their websites, on their social media accounts, and listen to the music that they've placed in TV, movies, and commercials. Here's a snippet from episode 1 with Everton Lewis Jr., music supervisor and CEO of Racket. Do you have advice for anybody getting into sync for the first time? From a producer musician perspective.
Like to actually get your music into sync?
Into sync, yes.
Oh yeah, just yeah.
Yes.
I do a lot of panels on this, on like how to get your music into TV, TV and film. But one of the major things is, one of the main things I say rather is just be patient, and also, do your research as to where your music might fit, right? You got a lot of people that are just like sending music out, right? It's just like, yeah, dude, like, it's great, but I work on, Hallmark Productions and you're sending me heavy metal.
It's just not a good match.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not a good match, right?
Yeah.
So, like, do your research and really hone in on a music supervisor. And not to say that music supervisors are only in one lane, but a lot of us do work on, a certain style of production in a sense, right? So find that music supervisor, look at TV shows that you think that your music could live in and what it resonates with, and then go that lane and attack with like purpose rather than just like
willy-nilly all
over the place and just trying to send everything out.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Second thing is look at sync rep companies, because sync rep companies, like I rely on them heavily. So, if I have to look for an alternate song for a particular spot, let's say I have a Beatles, so the director put in a temp song of the Beatles, and, I need to find songs that are similar.
Yes.
A lot of the times, because I'm working on so many productions, it's too time consuming for me just to go and search that on my own. Like I'll do my, search on my own within my own library that I have on my computer, but sync rep companies are there to assist me. So I'll send them the brief and they'll send me like tons of tracks that match up with that Beatles recording. So as a musician, these companies are really beneficial and they really work to get your music out there. So always look at them. Like, you got companies like Bank Robber, Terror Bird, or even if you're looking at music libraries to put your stuff into, like Jingle Punks and stuff like that. It's a good way to get your foot into the door into the music sync realm.
Make a great first impression in your initial outreach email or DM. First impressions are incredibly crucial. If you make a mistake at the beginning, you seldom get another opportunity. To make it easy for you, I created sync outreach email templates that you can use. They have all the necessary info and terms included so you can plug and play, as well as signify to sync industry professionals that you're on the level and understand what they need. It also includes a term sheet that helps explain sync industry lingo and jargon so that you understand. You also want to make sure that your follow-up game is strong in sync. Be patient. All 3 of the music supervisors I interviewed in season 1 said to wait a couple of weeks before following up. Music supervisors are very busy people, so be patient and be kind. Another common theme in a lot of the episodes is an emphasis on collaboration and mentorship. We heard stories about David Heyman, an industry legend who was mentioned by Everton Lewis Jr., Jamal Vickers, and Riche Brisson, who all credited him with helping them in their careers in one way or another. This highlights a key theme in sync, that collaboration and mentorship are vital. Everyone in this industry is a potential ally. Here's a snippet from episode 4 with Alex Petkovsky, professionally known as Fiora. She's an award-winning sync artist that has found a ton of success in commercials, TV, film, and video games.
You kind of started with Fiora and just like funneling energy into your artist project, and then opportunities kind of started coming.
Well, definitely. I mean, I will say everything I do is it's very intentional. So, yeah, around the time that the Fiora Artist Project really was born and came into fruition, I was engaging myself in recording studio sessions, co-writes, all the collaborative kind of processes, meeting different artists, writers, producers, and working with them. And then it's the domino effect. People introduce you to this person. It's a human to human relationship based industry, I find. So, yeah, it was very much like this sort of, this session went great. You know what? Alex, you should meet so and so. We should get you in the room. We'll do this session together, and that sort of snowballed. And yeah, simultaneous to that, I was fortunate enough to have kind of fostered and built up relationships with music supervisors who are integral to the music industry landscape, from a sync, a scoring, all of that. They're super, super vital. But of course, in the sync world, they're 100% a part of that recipe. So yeah, so definitely.
The last important tip is to make sure your tracks are one stop. You can do this by creating a one-stop split sheet contract for all of your collaborators that worked on your song. For example, if you're a singer-songwriter and you worked with a music producer and a rapper on your song, make sure you all sign a contract. This ensures that a music supervisor or any sync industry professional can secure the rights to a song by only contacting one person. This really streamlines the process and makes your music more appealing for sync opportunities. If you'd like your own free template, subscribe to the free Selling the Soundtrack email newsletter and email me tiff@sellingthesoundtrack.com. And that's it, guys. This season has been about demystifying the sync licensing industry and making it more accessible for independent musicians. From technicalities to personal stories, I hope you found value in every episode. Keep making music, keep sending it out, and don't forget this industry is all about consistency and relationship building. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'm Tiff, your sync buddy, signing off for season 1. Don't forget to sign up to the free Selling the Soundtrack email newsletter and follow Selling the Soundtrack on socials for tips and inspiration. Catch you in season 2.